So we're going to go on to actually how to customize things now. We're going to talk through some guiding principles, if you like. And this is where we're going to get into some real detail. So I just went through glycemic impact and, glycemic load and all of those kinds of ideas and theories. But this is where it actually gets to be a lot more practical in terms of how this is going to work for you, maybe in the next week or, maybe in a month's time or maybe in 6 months' time. So to start off with, really we do have two levels of customization that we can go to. The first level is basically where you want to see continued fat loss happening, but you are starting to approach your goal, and so you're starting to think that maybe slowing down that fat loss wouldn't be such a bad thing, and maybe you quite like the idea of being able to eat some different foods. Now I did touch on that earlier on in this course, that there are some grey foods you can start to experiment with if this is the case. And so we're going to chat a little bit more detail today about that, because there are some different strategies you can use and just to make it easy for yourself. Now, the second level of customization is weight maintenance. Now, obviously, this is where you get to a point where you're quite satisfied with, let's say, your body fat percentage, and you're moderately active probably, and just in a healthy way, not in a making yourself crazy at the gym kind of a way. But in this scenario, really you're just looking to maintain the weight that you're at, and really the important part of that is maintaining the muscle that you have on your body, because maintaining your weight, if you're putting on fat and losing muscle, obviously you don't really want to maintain your weight in that scenario. So this second level really is about maintaining the muscle you've got on your body, and therefore maintaining the healthy weight that you have achieved. Now, what I want to mention here is it's important to, not expect continued fat loss if you do start experimenting with some of these changes. Because after all, every person's body reacts differently, and you just never know, how your body might react to something like some onion, for example, or maybe some tomatoes, or, that combined maybe with a little bit of lost sleep one week because there's a busy period at work or something like that. I want you to be aware that, if you do go a week or two and you're hoping to still see some continued fat loss as you start customizing your program, you haven't lost anything, because what you're doing is you're experimenting. And so even if you haven't got a result on the scale or on your tape measure or any other way that you've been measuring yourself, even if there isn't a result there, you actually do have a result in your life. And that is that you've actually tried this and you've found out what happens when you personally try it. So that's the result that's actually quite worthwhile from doing this. Now, of course, it's good to think around, these two levels of customization, and just be aware that if you do start customizing, for example, more in the way that someone who's trying to maintain their weight would customize, that it's very possible that even if you're not at your goal, you might just stop there. So if your focus truly is on continued fat loss, then I really would advise you to, just sort of tread lightly and definitely listen to the method that I'm going to go through today, because realistically, if you follow that through, I think you'll definitely be able to enjoy some different kinds of foods along the way, but I think you'll also be able to make sure that those fat loss results keep on coming in for you. So I'm going to look at both continued weight loss and also weight maintenance. And I'm going to look at both of those goals, if you like, both of those levels of customization, and talk through each one, because really they are a little bit different. So, if your goal is weight maintenance, I promise I'm going to get to that. It's just going to be a few minutes for me to go through continued weight loss. But of course, if your goal is continued weight loss, well, you're probably going to be interested in the weight maintenance section as well, because one day, sooner or later, you will actually be at that point.